on in this video because I'm keeping it really real. I wanted to do a video about love and Valentine's Day because, of course, this time of year everyone's asking me about their love life and thinking about love because Valentine's Day is literally right here. But my Valentine this year is Kitty. She listens to all my problems. She's always there to make me feel better. She loves me unconditionally. Animals really teach us about love more so than anything else because they love us unconditionally. And we just basically take care of them and they give us multitudes of love in return. But this is the first time in I don't even remember how long that I don't have a human Valentine, but I have so many people in my life that I love in different capacities, in different ways, in different relationships. I feel really blessed, and I feel like every day is Valentine's Day because I think every day we should show and tell the people that we love them. And I use the words love you and I love you very, very much, but I never say them unless I really feel it in my heart. And I say it a lot because you never know when you won't get to say it to someone again. So I say it as much as possible, and when I do say it, I mean it from the very bottom of my heart, and I feel it in every cell of my body. That's how powerful a word it is, and it should be used with meaning and in every capacity possible with sincerity and authenticity. And animals, dogs and cats, all animals, love with complete authenticity, and that's why I think they're so amazing. So this is my Valentine. But I also wanted to share some other thoughts that might come in handy for people. But I'm going to make sure she is cozy and happy. So hang on. Okay, let's get into it. I wanted to share this video with you because recently I had an experience where my neighbors were yelling so loud it sounded like they were in my apartment. And it happened repeatedly, and they were not just yelling, I mean, they were screaming at each other. And so I prayed about it, and I got, if you're hearing it, there's a reason. Now, I wouldn't recommend for anyone to just go in and help a situation like that. I am also very intuitive, so I knew that they were not physically harmful, or they wouldn't be physically harmful. And I also am trained as a therapist, so I've worked with couples. So I had that under my belt. So that's the little disclaimer. But I decided if I heard them again fighting during the day, I would try to help. So the next time that they were having a screaming match, it was a Saturday, I believe, and it was during the day. So I followed the yelling and I knocked on the door. And I was nervous because I don't know them, or I didn't know them at the time. And they gave me permission to do this video. They actually encouraged me to do it because they thought it would help people. So thank you for allowing me to do that. I'm not going to share their name because I want to respect their privacy, but I appreciate that they're allowing me to share this with you. So, and I'm so happy to say I spent 2 hours with them and I have not heard yelling and screaming since. Now, maybe they're still fighting and they're just not being as loud about it. I don't know, but my hope is that they're doing better. And I'm just kidding. I've actually talked to them since, and they seem to be doing much better. And they're a newlywed couple. So it was really trying to navigate being newlyweds. And there's a lot of love there, but that also means sometimes there's a lot of passion, which can not always work in the most positive direction. But some of the things that I shared with them are things that I'm going to share with you today. One of the first ones is, if you've had an argument, and this doesn't have to be necessarily with a partner, This could be with a relative. This could be with any loved one of any capacity. If you've had an argument or, a heavy argument in your living space, it's very important that you cleanse the energy of your living space regularly, because remnants of that negativity build up and make the energy in the living space heavy, which can lead to anxiety, which can lead to depression, and it's actually a buildup of negative energy. So it's very important, if an argument that's quite heavy does occur, or a fight of some kind does occur in the living space, that you clear out that energy. It's almost like getting a clear or a new slate, a clean slate. And you can do that by burning sage, or if you have a salt lamp, you can get a salt lamp and put the salt lamp at least for 48 hours in the space where the argument occurred. If another argument occurs while the salt lamp is there, it's okay, because it'll continue to clear the energy and make new energies. So, and if you have a salt lamp in another area, just move it to that area and let it do its thing. The other thing, if you're female and you have to deal with negative male energy, or, negative energy from anyone, I always say you can pop an amethyst stone, a smooth one of course, in your bra, because that helps protect your energy and make your energy stronger, so you won't take on the negative energy. So that's a really helpful little tip. Just remember to take it out if you have to get a mammogram, otherwise they wonder what this thing is. So that can be helpful. But always clear the energy when there's been any kind of argument or fight, because that gives the house a fresh energetic restart. Another really good tip is, think of someone that you just have so much admiration and love for. Usually I think of my cat, because I love her so much, and even if she does something that annoys me, I can only stay annoyed for 2 seconds and I just love her to pieces. And animals, as I mentioned, love us unconditionally. So I think of her, and I think of her whenever I have to approach someone in a difficult situation, or whenever I'm interacting with someone, because that just opens my heart and allows me to approach them in an accepting, loving way. So every person that I interact with, I try to think of her first and how I want her to be treated, and give that energy to other people. And this can be really hard if someone's done something to hurt you. This doesn't mean that you excuse their behavior or you don't speak up about how you're feeling. But it's very important to forgive, because forgiveness is a gift that you give yourself, so your heart does not have to carry that hurt, and so your heart can be open. Forgiveness does not mean erase or forget what they did, but releasing the emotion and the hurt that you carry with it, so that your heart can be open and you don't have to carry those negative emotions. So forgiveness is key. Also, when we find ourselves really angry or hurt by something, it's really important to look at, is my reaction to this appropriate to what just happened? Could it be that my reaction is triggered from something in the past, either by something that someone else did to me, or something that this loved one did to me in the past, and what they just did is bringing that up for me, and so that's why my reaction is multiplied. It is very important that we evaluate our reaction and how we interact or respond, because sometimes our response is compounded or is exemplified by something in the past that may not even be related to the person that just hurt us in this moment. And if it is coming from something in the past, we have to really put ourselves in check and say, I think I'm reacting this way because of something that happened in the past, and it's not appropriate to what just happened. And I'm sorry for this reaction, but this is where it's coming from. And once we examine that, it'll really allow us to not only be in the present, but let go of past hurts so that our reaction truly stems from what's happening now. And particularly with the love relationship, it's very important that we start from a clean slate and you create history with that person that's really correlated with history with that person and not history of a past relationship or a past conflict, so that this relationship is built on a foundation that's truly connected to the dynamic between the two of you. Another thing that can be really helpful is to write down what your idea of a perfect relationship is, or a really good, wholesome love relationship is. Write that down in detail. And I don't mean like writing down, my wife will make me breakfast every morning, because that's just actions or motions. I mean writing down, like, I think it's really important, or I think it's a show of a good relationship when a couple spends this much quality time together. Or my idea of a perfect relationship would be able to have this many date nights per month or something. And each of you do that, and then figure out the things that you're willing to compromise on and the things that are truly, usually there's about 5 core things that are super important to each person, and those are the 5 core things that you don't compromise on, but you each work on bringing into the relationship, so that foundation of an idea of a perfect relationship can start to come into fruition because you're both working on it. And like I said, I usually allow each person in the couple 5 core things that are extremely important to them in the idea of creating a great relationship, and really narrow down what your 5 core things are for each person and work on creating and bringing that into the relationship. That's a really, really helpful exercise. Another thing that can be helpful is writing a letter to your spouse, and this letter isn't about placing blame, but this is about really sharing your heart about how you feel, where the relationship is now, and how you would like things to change. And it's very important to, with equality, write down the things that you think you should work on to make the relationship better. But share your heart authentically and truthfully, and again, approach them in a way that you would approach, I usually say, your child. Like when your child was little and they could do no wrong and you just love them so much, you just wanted to scoop them up and hug them. Approach your partner, your husband, your wife in that same loving way, so that when you word things, you're wording it in a way that will be accepting, that they will want to take that energy on. If we say things or do things hurtful, it creates a wall, because energetically our body does not want that impact. So we create an energetic wall to protect our physical and mental well-being, and that's why people build up walls. So just know that you want your words and actions to lift the person, to inspire the person to do better, to inspire the person to make a better relationship. And the only way to do that is to approach something in a loving way. Also, really evaluate where you're putting your energy. Like, for instance, I recently had a friend tell me they wanted to be email friends because they have so much going on in their life. Well, honestly, we all have so many things going on in our life, and that is life. That's never going to change. You can't build a relationship without actually spending time together. And I know that life gets hectic, and this is not just about a love relationship, because this was from a friend of mine. This is for any relationship. To really build a relationship, you have to spend time and you have to make time for each other. And it can be hard because everyone's schedule gets crazy, but you each have to make a mutual effort to do that. And it's important to create moments and time that create memories. And doesn't have to be anything extravagant. It can just be coffee and a conversation, or just spending time together and talking about things that are important, but creating memories, because our memory bank, the things that we create and the people that we create memories with, are the things that are going to help us through when time gets really tough. We're going to be able to think back on those times and just have that extra push to keep going. And I have a strong connection with music. So often I try to do activities with people that incorporates music, because if I hear that music, even if that person's not around, it brings me back to that positive energy of that memory. So if you love music, that can help you to push through when you're going through a difficult time. But make time for the people that you love. And forgive, because there's going to be a time where you're going to need grace and you're going to need forgiveness. And if you offer forgiveness to someone, then hopefully it creates space in the world and in the universe, in life, where you will be granted forgiveness when you need it. And really take time to spend with people. Even if you send a text or talk to them over FaceTime if you're not physically in the same location, because there may come a day that you can't say I love you, and then your heart is going to ache for those missed opportunities to do so. Creating memories are so important, because in the end, that's all we have left. And people often ask me what the meaning of life is. The meaning of life is creating memories, creating a bank of memories that bring you the feeling of love, that bring you the feeling of light, that bring you the feeling of happiness. And to create that and to have that, it's a two-way street. So just keep that in mind. Say I love you as much as you can, but say it authentically, mean it, and don't miss an opportunity to create a memory and to let someone know how much you love them. And it can be a simple gesture of knocking on the door, or making a cup of tea and coming and talking to someone, because you may need it as much as the person that you're doing it for and not even realize that till afterwards. And if you're feeling unloved and wishing that you had a Valentine, just know that I love you and I will be your Valentine, and I'm in your cheering section, and I love all of you. And if you have questions about creating better relationships or anything spiritual or about makeup or whatever, just leave it below and I'll do a video for you, because I love you guys that much. And I hope you have an amazing Valentine. Remember, the most important Valentine is loving yourself first, appreciating yourself. When you hear yourself in your mind saying something negative about yourself, delete it right away and replace it with something of love. The more you love yourself, the more you'll have the capacity to love others because you will give yourself grace first. I love you guys, and until next time, love, light, and blessings.